Sixer Nation, we need to have a very serious conversation today, as I feel that a portion of the fan base has completely lost their minds. We'll get into that rant. Also, Dr. J gives us some strong thoughts on Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and more for this upcoming season. And Charles Barkley makes a very bold claim. We'll get into all of it and more right here on Philly Take with RB. But we started off with our boy Jared McCain, who recently told a reporter that recovery from his left meniscus tear is going great. Quote, "It's been going great. I just started taking actual jump shots. I've been doing a lot of no jump for months and months now. It feels really nice to get out there and jump and do more running and doing a skip, just random things that you take for granted when you're fully healthy, but it is coming along great and I am getting there." Listen, I hope Jared McCain comes back full health and is ready to rock, because what we saw, that little glimpse of superstardom from him very early, could translate, could continue to grow, but he has to be ready. He has to feel like he can move whatever which way, and he needs to be confident. So I hope to see him back healthy at the start of the season. The Sixers are not trading Jared McCain, by the way, as some people have proposed that recently, and more of the fan base in the last 24 hours has made me completely lose my mind. So I'm going to talk about that, but what happened? Well, yesterday, Desmond Bane becomes the newest player in the category of overpaid for, right? A lot of draft picks get sent for Desmond Bane. Now, I'm not saying that it wasn't a good trade for Orlando. I actually think it's a really good fitting piece, something that they really desperately need. And I think it'll help their team in a wide open Eastern Conference next year. But at the same time, every year we see a guy get traded for more than we think they're worth. And the Grizzlies get 4 unprotected first round picks, a pick swap, KCP, and Cole Anthony. So I'm not here to talk about this trade. I'm here to talk about the overall concept of how this is making people feel. Because after this trade went down, well, every team, every fan base started to think that, well, we could just trade our young players and get a ton of assets. And as it relates to the Sixers fan base, we started off with Elliott Shore-Parks. Now, again, respect to him for the Eagles coverage he does, but he should not be talking Sixers because he was the first one to send the fan base spiraling. He says that based on what the Magic gave up for Desmond Bane, it would not be crazy for the Sixers to see if they can capitalize on Tyrese Maxey's value right now, which led to me replying with, what are we even talking about right now? Then I put out another tweet where I said that the way that people are talking about Maxey is mind-boggling. There have been people out there that say he's not a leader, that he hasn't grown, and that he's inefficient. He had a bad year. Yeah, we get it. Everybody had a bad year. I'm going to make this as simple as I can for you all. The Sixers should not trade a 24-year-old all-star player who looks like he is becoming a franchise cornerstone. Okay? They shouldn't do it. Nada. No. Are we crazy? You know what the Sixers fan base, a portion of these fans remind me of right now? You ever have a time in your life where you're going through a bunch of issues and you start to spiral and you start to make things that aren't issues into issues? Tyrese Maxey's not the problem. Everybody says Maxey and McCain can't coexist. Trade one. Why'd you draft them then? Right? And you get this glimpse of wow from Jared McCain, most threes in the first 15 games of a career, and then he gets hurt. People want to start McCain and trade Maxey. Who knows if McCain can even come back healthy right away? Who knows how he'll look? They want to trade Tyrese Maxey, who has gotten better incrementally year by year. 5 years in the NBA. His points have increased each year. His percentages still look great. He had a little bit of a down season this past year. But guess what? Any player in the NBA put in that situation would have a bad year. Tyrese Maxey was playing without 2 max co-stars. Halfway through the year, he's playing through a hand injury, and he's also playing with G League players. People want to trade Tyrese Maxey for what? 5 picks so we can try to find 3 more Tyrese Maxeys? Are you confident in the Sixers doing that? Maybe the Thunder should trade SGA to try to get 5 picks to find a couple more SGAs. I mean, come on now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think that Tyrese Maxey should get traded from the Sixers right now, you need to take a step back from what you're doing, pick up your phone, call your doctor, make an appointment, and get checked out because there's something seriously wrong with you. We need to wake up. We need to really think about this stuff before we say it. Tyrese Maxey is not the guy that should be traded. We can talk about Joel Embiid if you're done with him, or Paul George, who's injury prone from last year. But Tyrese Maxey, come on, man. We need to stop this. And I'm not just singling out someone like this, but Maxey didn't improve last year. Took a ton of terrible shots. Who was he playing with? He was the number one option. Teams were adjusting to defending him and him only. He also got better on the defensive end. His playmaking continues to improve. His turnovers continue to improve. Yes, the numbers don't look that good at certain stretches in the season, but context and situation matter. How many times have we talked about this over the last 2 months when it comes to Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper? Context matters. It's not just the numbers. If you really want to trade Tyrese Maxey, I need a valid reason why, because I think some of you are losing your minds. Now, before we get into the comments from Dr. J, a couple quick things that concern me as well. Number one, Keith Pompey reports that Kyle Lowry will probably return next season. I'd like him back as an assistant coach with a clipboard, not as a player. I do not want him getting minutes over some of the other younger guards on this team. Also, Joel Embiid's surgery has been, 8 to 9 weeks now? They said we would get an update in 6 weeks, reevaluation. Haven't heard anything, so really just a blank space at that point. But Dr. J made some very interesting comments about Joel Embiid, and I want to react to those, but real quick, a shout out to our sponsor of today's video. Do you ever look at your to-do list and get overwhelmed with everything piling up throughout the day? Well, that's where IndaCloud comes in, where you can literally be in the clouds. A quick gummy turns the overwhelm spiraling into cozy and calm, and shout out to them for sponsoring today's video. IndaCloud makes legal hemp-derived products that are actually good, not those mystery edibles your roommate throws into the air fryer. We're talking about gummies that are strong, tasty, and get the job done. All of their products are third-party lab tested and 2018 Farm Bill compliant. Every order is shipped discreetly right to your house so your mailman doesn't judge you and neither does your roommates. Let me tell you, they sent me some products to try and they're incredibly distinct and unique. A couple that opened my eyes were the orange soda gummies, the Bliss gummies that are infused with melatonin to help you get a strong night's rest, and even a gummy-infused candy rope. Yes, that's right, reminiscent like the old Nerds ropes back in the day to help you take off the edge. So if you're 21 or older, go over to indacloud.co right now, use the code PHILLYTAKE, and get 25% off plus free shipping on your first order. That's indacloud.co, code PHILLYTAKE to get 25% off plus free shipping. You know what to do. Float above the stress and vibe out with IndaCloud. So Dr. J was asked about the Sixers. How do they get back on the right page? Here's what he had to say, quote, "I think doing a better job of maintaining the health and conditioning of our players would be a step in the right direction. If I was involved in the organization, I would put 100% focus on that right now because we have such talent. We're paying a lot of money for the talent and we're only getting a 60% return on the investment." Great way to put it. Simply put, anybody with a brain could see this. Shout out to the legend Dr. J for keeping it real. How many times have we said this season? They need to invest in a better medical staff. They need to improve their training processes or whatever else it is. And I know they made a couple replacements early in this offseason, but they need to continue to do that because literally for the past 4 years, it's been a running joke. At one point in every season, the whole team gets sick. The whole team gets injured. He talked about Maxey and Embiid and the dynamic. And here's what he had to say, quote, "I think Maxey's my choice of being the leader. He had health issues last year, but I think he'll rise above that. He'll probably be the best player on the team, the one who can play most consistently night in and night out for 70-plus games." Then, in terms of Joel Embiid, he says, "Joel is the captain and he's a leader. He's a guy who needs to lead a little more by example and performance on and off the court or whatever things he totally needs to address." Yeah, I mean, we saw that last year with the reports in the locker room and the frustrations. Obviously, he was injured, so he was mad about that. But we've heard this over time. Like, Joel needs to emerge sometimes and step up as the leader. I don't think he always needs to be the most vocal, but lead by example, right? Your work habits, showing up on time and being able to show up and play and things like that. So it's interesting to hear this from an icon like Dr. J. He says, Paul George, how he fits in, when he's right, he's right. I mean, he's a very, very good player. So a lot of praise here for the big three, but again, the biggest question, as always, will they be healthy? and will they get on the floor? He says, I think if they verbally commit, then the city itself will put pressure on them to perform better and perform more consistently. So Dr. J is saying these three need to really step up and be the guys. And if not, then the fan base will kind of be checked out. Dr. J also elaborated on Joel Embiid. He says, I've spoken to Joel in passing, and I have not really been invited to have a sit-down convo with him about his health, wellness, career, and all that. No, I haven't been in that position. You know, it wasn't my job. It's somebody else's per se. I wouldn't mind doing it if I was asked to do that or even asked by him, but that has not happened. So is that a product of bad leadership, bad management? Do they not want Dr. J involved? Does Joel Embiid not want to meet with him? Is he stuck in his own ways? Who knows? Who knows? But I think it would be a good idea. You know, take wisdom and knowledge from those that came before you. Interesting stuff from Dr. J. And lastly, another Sixers legend, Charles Barkley, says that if Joel Embiid had started his career with a real coach, he would have become the greatest player in Sixers history. Agree or disagree? I mean, there's been some greats. I don't know if he'd be the greatest. Potentially, though. Has the talent to do so, but has had a lot of learning over the years when it comes to nutrition and staying in shape. And obviously he's been injury prone, but kind of a shot here at Brett Brown. Shout out to Brett Brown, the nicest guy you'll ever meet. But I agree, you know, like they need somebody that'll hold these guys accountable. They haven't had it for years, whether it's Embiid, Simmons, whoever. These guys have come in and kind of just done things the way that they want to. And Charles Barkley does bring up Billy Cunningham in this video. And he says that they really just need more of like a hard-nosed, tough mentality, no BS type of coach. And maybe if, you know, a guy like Doc Rivers wouldn't have just let these guys off the hook all the time, maybe that could have helped. There's so many what ifs in this Sixers timeline, but now it's like you have to show up. And if you're still hurt and this thing doesn't recover, then honestly, I think we're questioning whether he'll ever play at a decent level again. And that's the sad story. But nonetheless, those are my thoughts. One thing I will tell you is that even if Embiid can't play, Maxey will. And Maxey should be here and be a part of this team. Give me all your thoughts on this and more down below. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.